Hello, welcome. I'm so happy that you're joining me live on Facebook or you're watching me on YouTube, and I really do appreciate you joining in. And we're going to be starting in just a little bit. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing my tips for students, high school seniors, college students, anybody thinking about getting the perfect summer job. So I'm going to give you some of my tips, and I hope it's going to be really helpful to you. So we're going to start in a little bit, and I want to welcome you all. If you're here live, please let me know. Give me the thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for letting me know that you're here, and let me know where you're coming in from, where you are, and let me know if you're a parent, you're a student, you're a professional. I would really love to know who you are, so please let me know. So before we start, if you don't know who I am, I'm Miner-Rosen. I'm a certified life coach, but I specialize in working with high school seniors, college students, young adults with or without ADD, ADHD, executive functioning challenges, learning differences. I've had some clients with Asperger's or high functioning autism, and I really love to help that population. But as a career coach, I work with all populations. My clients are all over the country, they're nationwide, and I work with them mostly on video broadcasting or on the phone. So thank you so much for coming in. I really welcome you. At the end of this talk, I'm going to definitely open it up to live questions. So if you have any questions at all, hang in there until the end, and I'll definitely answer them all. So before we start, again, thank you so much for coming in. Give me the thumbs up. So I wanted to share with you, in the last few weeks, I've been speaking to a lot of my clients, and they're really sharing with me how they're really challenged by figuring out what they're going to do for the summer. And they've been very concerned about figuring out how they're going to go about getting a job, what job they should look for, what they should do. Is it something that should be in their major or their interest, or a part-time job or a full-time job? And because there's so much information out there, and there's so much, they don't know where to start, where to go, how to do it. So I'm going to give you a few tips today, and hopefully that's going to help. And let me know if you have any questions at all. So most of my clients, like I said, they're looking for a part-time job or a full-time job, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So here are some of the tips. The first tip I want to give you is there are so many great places to work that are looking for you. They're looking for dedicated employees. They're looking for hard workers. They want you to work for them, and it's even though it seems challenging, you can do it. You can go out there and find a job. So here is my biggest advice, is visit potential places in person. So if you're thinking about a job, let's say a part-time job or a full-time job at Starbucks or Panera or Best Buy or Macy's, or even at a restaurant like Duffy's, or someplace local or a bigger restaurant chain, some like Sephora or Petco or Home Depot. These are all big companies, but they are training and they are looking for people to help them. So what I suggest, I actually did this with a couple of my clients, and they had a lot of success. I suggested that they go to the place of business and watch what's going on. Watch what the employees are doing. Go and sit there, or go sit in a Panera or a Starbucks, and just notice what's happening around you. Notice what the employees are doing. Notice how they're interacting with each other. See how you feel. Check in and see, do you feel calm when you're there? Do you feel stressed when you're there? Is it a fun place with fun music, or is the lighting or the sound too loud and too distracting? This is all based on you. And since most of my clients have ADHD, they're truly sensitive to those things around them. And that's understandable. And that's why I suggest go there, be there, check it out, see what it's like. You know, if you are thinking of working at Subway or Jersey Mike's or whatever and working behind the counter, those are great summer jobs. Those are great part-time jobs, great experience. And remember that even if you're going to college, any experience is good experience. All resumes should have work experience on them. So it really doesn't matter where you are working at this point, if you're in high school or college. It's just important to work. But it's also important to find the right fit for you. So it might be a hustle bustle of a department store. Or I had one client that found that he really had a lot of social anxiety about working with customers. So he worked for Home Depot at night, the night shift. Yeah, that's not always for everybody, but he didn't realize it, but it actually was a really good fit for him. And they trained him. They showed him how to use a forklift and how to organize and how to, do his job. And he loved it, and he was phenomenal at it, and they promoted him. So it really depends on who you are. But number one is go there. Go to Petco. If you like working with animals, go there. Watch how the employees are. Watch how they talk to each other. Watch what they're doing. Notice, what the environment is like, and just imagine you working there and see if that helps. So here's some other tips. Don't prejudge. Don't assume that when you see that job that you can't get a job there because you're not experienced. There are so many places that have incredible training. Don't assume just because you can't make a latte that you wouldn't be good at Starbucks. Starbucks does amazing trainings, and they train their employees. They teach you how to be a barista. They show you how to do it. I also hear a lot from my clients that they're not good at math, and so they can't work behind a register. And that's kind of a misnomer also. Many of my clients have found that even though they're not good at math, they're still really good at money and numbers and inputting data. One doesn't necessarily have to do with the other. So you might not have been a great algebra student, but you might be really good with customers, really good behind the register, really good at data entry. I mean, you really have to think about what those things are, and don't prejudge. You never know. Like I said, any job is a good job on your resume. Even if you're volunteering or you're getting a job as an internship, it is really a good experience. And you don't have to put down on your resume how much money you made. So that's important also. And, reach out. And this is so important. Reach out to people, apply, ask, be open-minded, and follow up. If you can remember that, apply, ask, be open-minded, and follow up. So apply. Once you find a job that you really think, okay, this would be good. I could work at Jersey Mike's, or I could work at Starbucks. Starbucks is I keep saying Starbucks because it's really a great place to work. And I do know that from one of my clients, and they do so much training, which is so wonderful. So going and applying. How do you apply? So you walk up to them. You can walk up to any employee that works there and say, who should I speak to about applying for a job here? That's all you need to say. Who should I speak to about applying for a job here? Ask if you can take the application home. I found this to be a bit of an issue. Some of my clients get very nervous, very anxious about even approaching anybody or asking them for help or asking them for an application. And by the time you're there filling out the application, if you're very nervous, it's very hard to think clearly and put the correct information. Unless, of course, you bring all the information with you and you feel confident with that. So what I recommend is that you take the application home. And you make a copy of it. Either take a picture of it or put it in your scanner, and take the rough copy, and fill that in pencil, and to make sure you have all the correct information. Look it over a few times, make sure you like the way that it looks, everything is correct, everything is spelled right, and then fill out the actual application in pen. So that's a really good way. You could do it when you're relaxed, without stress, without rushing. You really want to have a good application. Okay, so the second thing is ask. Ask family friends, ask fellow students, ask local business people, and ask them if they know of a job or they know anyone that can refer you to a job. And that's the best connection, is when you talk to people. And networking, I know, is a big challenge, especially for those that are socially awkward or nervous about being social. That can be really hard. But, start with your friends, start with your family, start with the people that you know. The other thing is, be open-minded. Be open-minded. Don't assume that you're not qualified for a job. Don't assume that you can't do it. Don't assume that they won't like you. Don't assume that it's not for you, because you never know. You might really like it. They might really like you, and they might have a job for you, or if they don't have a job for you that's exactly perfect, maybe they have something else for you to do. So like Office Depot. Office Depot is a big company, and you could go into one of those stores, or a Staples, or whatever retail office supply store, whatever there is, and you might not feel comfortable behind the register, but they might have somebody who they need in the back to check in inventory, to stock shelves, to organize shelves, to put back returns. You never know. So you always want to reach out. You always want to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit and be open-minded. And you don't have to take the job. I mean, that's the best part. Experience in interviews is so valuable. So think of this as an opportunity for you to get out there, step outside your comfort zone, and try an interview and work with interviewing. And if you don't think it's right for you, or they're expecting you to do something that you absolutely cannot do, or the hours aren't right, or something doesn't feel right, then you don't have to take the job. But at least you went through the process, and that's really good. I really highly recommend that. The more you interview, the better. The better experience you get each time you interview, you're going to feel calmer, and it's going to be easier. It's just like me going on Facebook Live. It was not easy the first time I did it. Okay, the last tip is follow up. And this is so important. You must follow up. So the first thing I would do is, when you go on an interview, is write down the name of the person that you spoke to. Write down their first name, their last name, write down their email address. Follow up right away with a thank you note. Say, thank you for speaking with me. I'm really interested in working for your company. And then, after you've applied, if you have applied or sent in an application, also find out the name of the store manager. You always want to if you leave an application somewhere, always walk out of there with some sort of name, first name, last name, email, phone number of the person in charge, the person that's either hiring or the store manager, so that you have a contact. And then 10 days later, after you've turned in your application, if you don't hear back from them after 10 days, then I would definitely follow up again. I would send an email and say, it was a pleasure meeting with you on so-and-so date, so you want to keep track of that. And also say, can you let me know if there's a position for me in your company? Or, what is the status of my application? Or when will you know when I can start at your company? And also, remember, if you don't hear back, this is really important also. If you don't hear back from a company, it's not personal. It's not you. And I think that's the biggest concern that my clients have had when they're interviewing for jobs. They get very discouraged. It's easy to get discouraged. It's not an easy process. But remember, it's not you. You never know. I mean, some jobs could be flooded by 200 or 300 applicants. And there's no way that one person could get back to all of those applicants. And yes, I understand that they really should, and they should put in a policy where they get back to everybody. But I think it's really difficult for people who are super busy, store managers, for them to return every phone call of everybody that's interviewed or that's put in an application. So it's really up to you to follow up. but it's not about you. And that's important. And there will be it might have been because there were other applicants that were better qualified for whatever reason, who knows? And you don't know. Or it could have been that they decided to hire their cousin's nephew's daughter for the job, and that's why you didn't get the job. You just never know, and it's not about you. It's nothing personal. And I would always just chalk it up to experience. You go, oh, there's another one. Keep a list. Keep a record of who you spoke to and the date you spoke to them, and just keep going. Keep plugging at it. So thank you so much. This was just a quick video to share with all of you about some tips about looking for a job, and I hope it was helpful for you. Please feel free to add any comments, put any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer any questions, even if you're watching on YouTube or on the replay. Put your questions in the comments box and I'm happy to answer them. Also, I would love you to click like if you're on my Facebook page, and click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you want to share this out, please feel free to share this video out with anybody that you know that might be interested. And it doesn't have to be somebody with ADD or ADHD or executive functioning. Really, it could be any high school student or college student that just isn't sure where to start, because that can be the really tough part, is what do I do first? Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ADHD Coach Lynn. Also, I would really love it if you would join my mailing list. You can go onto my website at www.coachlynnmr.com and join my newsletter. I send out a newsletter. I send out notifications of my blogs, notifications of my Facebook Lives. I do a lot of public speaking. I also am going to be doing some free live webinars where I'm also going to give away some freebies and some infographics and checklists that are really going to help my clients out. And I just want you to know I will never share your information with anybody. Everything is private and confidential. And I want to wish today's Friday the 13th. Have a great day and a great weekend. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.